All right, pay close attention because this is quite a sight to see. Donald Trump actually just initiated the trade war between our closest trading partners, causing US stocks to plummet, causing Claudia Sheinbaum to immediately escalate, and now we have headlines like this. Trump's Mexico tariffs could raise produce prices in the next few days, says the Target CEO. Or just look at the top of the screen, this red bar. The Dow dropped 600 points this morning, and the NASDAQ is flirting with correction territory as Trump's trade war escalates. Let me remind you, this dude ran on saving the economy, lowering grocery prices on day one, and I am looking at a screen that has like 3 different L's for Trump. Not only is the Target CEO saying, hey, we're going to have to raise prices, but the Dow is dropping. The NASDAQ is correcting. Consumers will see higher produce prices. Strawberries, avocados, bananas could rise after the 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada. And all I have to say is he did that. We need to be relentlessly spreading the message that this dude broke his promises, whether it's the Ukraine war, whether it's lowering grocery prices. He did that. We need to be connecting the dots. What did they do for the past 4 years? When the bird flu was popping up, they blamed it on Biden relentlessly. And we actually have the grounds to say Trump enacted inflationary policies. Let's just check out the S&P 500 over the past few days. So just this morning, over the past 30 minutes, we have seen it drop 1.53%. Now, the S&P 500 is an index with the top 500 companies in the U.S. So it's Apple, Microsoft, Google. All of these companies are indexed. So it's going to show you what the economy is looking like, or it's one indicator at least. Over the past 5 days, it's dropped 3.66%. That is a lot for a 5-day period. Let's check out the past month, which more accurately reflects since when Trump took office. Still, down 4.76% over the past month. And listen, the S&P 500 is just one indicator out of many indicators. We can look at this. The Atlanta Fed model forecasts a nearly negative 3% GDP growth in the first quarter of this year, and it largely is due to a massive amount of imports because of Trump's tariff policies. But I do want to break down what the Target CEO said. I do want to break down what Trump's response has been to all this because it's actually laughable. I mean, do you guys remember when Trump tweeted out mid-February, just 3 words, Biden inflation up? First of all, he's pandering to the lowest common denominator. He's like, if I use less words, the message will be more clear. But what do you mean Biden inflation up? Dude, it's your term now. It's all on you now. And even if we go to conservatives, look how they're coping. End Wokeness, one of the largest conservative accounts on Twitter, said, Biden's economy was artificially propped up by fake money and fake data. Buckle up. And he said that late last night after Sheinbaum imposed retaliatory tariffs. So even End Wokeness is coping so hard, he's trying to blame it on Biden's economy. But let's check out what the Target CEO said. All that I ask is you drop a like, subscribe, and let's start off with Senator Mark Kelly. He had some words.
I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just saw. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are up, not down. Inflation is getting worse. Prices of groceries, gas, housing, and rent, and even eggs. Costs are all getting more expensive. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has done nothing to lower costs for you. Instead, he pardons violent criminals that beat police officers in the Capitol on January 6th. He's letting Elon Musk take a chainsaw to vital government programs. And he's giving him access to Americans' most sensitive data: social security numbers, tax returns, and healthcare records. He has fired thousands of essential government workers, people who are actually working to make the government more efficient. Why is he doing this? Trump, Musk, and Republicans are taking services away from you in order to make room for tax cuts for billionaires like them. The Republican plan is simple. Families lose and billionaires win.
Very well said from Mark Kelly there. Now let's jump over to the Target CEO's statements. Quote, shoppers will likely see produce prices increase in the coming days due to President Trump's tariffs on Mexican imports, Target CEO Brian Cornell said Tuesday. And I'm assuming if the Target CEO is saying this, we're going to see this across many other stores. The Trump admin's 25% levies on goods from Mexico and Canada, along with the additional 10% duty on Chinese imports, took effect Tuesday, March 4th, which is the day I'm recording this. Cornell said Target relies heavily on Mexican produce during the winter months, and the tariffs could force the company to raise prices on fruits and vegetables as soon as this week. Quote, those are categories where we'll try to protect pricing, but the consumer will likely see price increases over the next couple of days. If there's a 25% tariff, those prices will go up. Well, today we saw the 25% tariff. Cornell said prices could rise for produce like strawberries, avocados, bananas, many of the imports that they get from Mexico during the winter months. And I say this all the time, but Trump's economic policy is entirely incoherent, and it's like the only tool he thinks he has in the toolbox are tariffs. And when the only tool you have is a hammer, as they say, you'll see everything is a nail. So now Donald Trump is on the world stage swinging this hammer around, somehow only hitting our allies, right? He's only tried to tariff Colombia, Mexico, China, while easing and lifting sanctions on Russia and stopping aid to Ukraine. What is this dude's grandmaster 4D chess plan? Raise prices for American citizens, let Russia continue to invade Ukraine, pull us out of most of our alliances, or at least soft withdrawals. He doesn't even have to pull us out of NATO. If he just says he won't follow Article 5, then NATO is basically cooked. But I mean, the headlines coming out today, we've got to be hammering this stuff home. The Dow dropped 500 points immediately this morning. The NASDAQ flirting with correction. U.S. stocks continued sliding on Tuesday. And I just want to show you some more cope from Republicans. I want to end this off with some pure Republican cope. I showed you what Wokeness said, but check out this interaction on Twitter. Geiger Capital, this Trump supporter who's always tweeting random stuff, said last night, "Oh, boo, Trump is making the value of my upper middle class tech 401k and $1 million home go down marginally. Why can't he just maintain the status quo and run deficit?" He's basically saying, oh no, Trump is placing tariffs that will raise prices for American citizens. Why do I care? It's like, dude, number one, you guys talked about prices for the past 4 years. The average Americans, they're very hurt when prices go up. But secondly, he tweeted this out. A few days after the election, he said, "No one other than fairly stupid partisans on the left think Trump is truly going to try to implement 20% tariffs across the board." Dude, he said a few months ago, no one other than fairly stupid partisans think Trump's going to do this. Then when Trump actually does it, the dude backpedals and says, oh, why would I care? Why do I care if prices are going up? We've seen other people. We've seen the Jack Posobiec's of the world and people like Wokeness or libs of TikTok saying, hey, I'm okay with prices going up as long as we're owning the libs. It's like, dude. And I just want to end this off by saying our messaging is going to be really important over the next few weeks, over the next few years. I mean, I was joking around earlier about this Trump I did that sticker meme, but it's actually incredibly, incredibly important to be connecting these dots and saying, hey, Trump's tariffs, Trump's terrible economic policy leads directly to your grocery prices being raised on a day-to-day basis. And to be frank, the Republicans right now have the burden of proof. They're the ones who are in office. Trump has the presidency. They have both chambers of Congress. They're the ones right now who need to prove their agenda. The onus is on them to prove that they are worth electing. So far, we haven't seen any signs of that unless you're pro-Russia and want to downsize the federal government in ways that hurts everyday Americans, and unless you want prices to go up. But just, yeah, broadly speaking, the amount of headlines that we got this morning, it paints a pretty grim picture. We can either look at Mexico tariffs causing the Target CEO to speak publicly. We can look at the stock market correcting at a very, very rapid pace. We can look at the GDP declining in the first quarter, which is not supposed to happen. We need to keep messaging on this, and I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.